I want to share an example of one of the defects that I discovered about myself, which was self seeking, so being self centered. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're really selfish, obviously selfish people. It can be kind of undercover um, and murky and shadowy. And for me, I realized and was reminded yesterday in a meeting where I was self seeking in areas that seemed like I was caring about other people. So we are wired to survive and we are wired to look after ourselves. The ego does that for us. But I realized that I was doing things and convincing myself subconsciously that they were for other people, but they were actually for me. So I'll name two examples that can hopefully open it up a little bit and make it easier to understand. I used to pray when one of my family members was in active addiction, and I used to pray to a higher power and beg this higher power to help her and beg this higher power to um, show her the way. And on the outside, that would seem like a really beautiful thing to be doing. And aren't you so good praying for your family member? Aren't you so like selfless? But really, it wasn't selfless because it was for my own gain. If she got well or if she got clean, then I would have peace. So it wasn't completely honestly about her peace. Of course, I wanted her suffering to end, and of course, I wanted her to have a better life. But I also wanted peace from it myself. So it wasn't truly selfless. So there was an attachment to it. And it reminds me of yoga. In karma yoga, you're in service without expectation of a return or any expectation or attachment, seeking kind of validation from it, you know. Another way I realized I was self-seeking was I felt like I was always available for everyone. I loved that everyone came to me to talk about their problems, and I loved that everybody wanted to share their worries with me. It kind of made me feel needed, and it made me feel trusted, and it made me feel like someone's go-to. And with a mix of people pleasing in there, I had no boundaries. And there was this thing that used to light up inside me when someone wanted to talk to me about their relationship problems or their struggles with work. And, you know, I may not have had the capacity or the space, but I always like held the space and thought or fooled myself subconsciously that I was just a good person being there. But that's exactly what it was about. I wanted to be perceived as a good person. So I was everyone's helper and I was everybody's nurse, and I was like the first to support or the first to sacrifice my own needs to meet someone else's. But that was not about the other person truly. That was about me, because I wanted them to be like, oh, Emily, thank you so much. Oh, Emily, you're so good to me. And feel this validation inside of like, yes, you are a good person. So I was helping other people or burning myself out for other people to appear as a good person or to be perceived as a good person. And that's self-seeking. And it's really slippery because you wouldn't think about it that way. You wouldn't see it like that, but that's the case. So they're two examples that have come up recently, and you might be able to understand better areas where there's a slight impurity or again murkiness inside, where you're doing something and you can ask yourself like, who am I really doing this for? Or why am I actually doing this? What do I want from this? Am I trying to gain from this, or is this completely selfless? Is this centered in myself, in my ego, or is it for the better of something or someone else?